.007. Like, how do you find that balance to keep? I don't want to say keep your sanity because it can be stressful. But to be able to keep a balance and even keel and still be creative.
As far as the different medium of entertainment, like whether it's a commercial or a TV show or a film, in my head, it's all the same thing. It's an opportunity to do storytelling. It may be abbreviated within a 30-second commercial. It may be in the form of just my voice on a video game or a voiceover, but there's always a place where you can create. And in that, I find a space of also ease and comfort and relaxation.
Is it very difficult, or sometimes like, does it amaze you when you see the outcome when you're working from one to the other? Like, how does that work, and what do you feel about it?
Yeah, I mean, most definitely. Obviously, it really helps to have the real thing in front of you, because it stimulates your senses. Whereas if you are looking at a blue screen or a green screen, you really have to dive into your imagination. So it is challenging for sure, but you just have to make sure that you're prepped and know exactly what you're doing. I guess it's a bit like theatre, you don't have everything in front of you, the fourth wall in front of you is the audience. So you've got to imagine that's something else. Right. So I'm lucky that I had the training that I did, because I was able to kind of exercise that muscle. Really surprised with what they fill in with the green screen. You're like, so that's what I was looking at.
Rumble. I use this all the time, and I know we spoke about this. Let's get ready to rumble. Michael Buffer owns that slogan.
Right.
Before he even said the slogan, before he ever said it, he filed an intent to use trademark. And once he used it, he filed a use-based trademark. And I'll explain the difference between those two. But the point is he filed it prior to using it. Once he used it, he then had the trademark for it. And he's made $400 million off of licensing that slogan, right? So this is the power of kind of believing in yourself and knowing the legal steps you need to take in order to own your slogan, in order to own your name, in order to own your brand, right? Even your logo.
Strategy as well, implementation. There's a lot of different aspects of business. And, here's a news flash. Most of us are not good at all of those things. And so if you're smart enough to figure out that you need a little bit of help in sales or marketing, or, oh my gosh, my business is growing by leaps and bounds, so I got to have an operations manual. I got to build an operations plan. Right. That's where I come in. And I help business owners build that roadmap to success. It could be in sales, it could be in marketing, it could be in operations, or it could be in strategic planning and development. Or it could be all of those different things. And so I can work with business.
Like, what is really the overall mission and vision, of Beacon? It's had a great 30-year history. But how can they continue to, move that mission and vision forward, in today's tough times, especially with the pandemic and everything that's hit so many businesses and organizations?
That's a lot of questions. So our vision is to be a transformational English language and literacy program, and to lead the way for the residents of the greater Prince William County and Manassas area. So we're trying to empower adult learners to enhance their quality of life, to address their changing needs through English language classes, citizenship classes, employment training, life skills training, and literacy education.
Because I think so many of us really need to hear this and really understand, how that impacts, your cleaning or your home, and really your healthcare too.
Yes, 110%. And the fact that you use mental health, that's really what a lot of people like to just throw out. Oh, they're hoarders. So especially in like people throw out hoarding. And the thing that, especially in our culture, in the African American community, I feel like a lot of times we're very dismissive.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, that person's house is nasty. And it's very dismissive, and it builds walls up. And so now you built a wall where the person is no longer letting you in.
Go into, like, what would I be looking at? If I'm looking for, purchasing, is there box sets? Can you buy individual, that type of thing for a small business owner, entrepreneur who may be interested in buying today? Because you guys want to buy this today. Because when I get off,
you want to buy today.
You want to buy this.
Buy today because there's a sale going on right now. And when I say a sale, it's like a major mega sale going on right now. Normally the wristbands like this are $69. They're on sale for $35 right now.
Going to the harbor was a very deliberate decision of mine because I remember, the Gaylord is there and we had a lot of conferences. There are a lot of conferences that come. There are a lot of travelers that come. And, in my early career, I remember going to a conference to a city I'd never been before and kind of wandering around to see what's out there. And so what we have the benefit of people coming to our store who are wandering and looking. And on a lot of times, they may be in a headspace where they're thinking about something that's happening at home. They might be, and I've had a few people who have talked to me about major decisions they make, or, they're going into a surgery, or they're needing something to help them feel better. And a lot of times it's really the positive energy that we provide.
I'd love to. It's a beautiful history, Damon. It's grassroots, right? We were founded in 1986. Our founder's name was Charlie Mann. This is a gentleman who, in a struggle to feed his own family during hard times, found a way to reach out to restaurants, grocery stores, and stores that would be willing to donate what he would call then their spoils, right? Anything that they would throw away at the end of the night. And if you know anything about back in the 80s, this was before a lot of the Good Samaritan laws came out that protected stores and gave them the confidence and protection to actually donate those goods. And so at this time, he was really networking and just trying to do what he could to feed his family. So people saw him doing this. He began to network with other people. And naturally, with the type of heart that he has, he reached out to other people with the same need and said, listen, there's opportunity here. Does your family need
What is it that makes you different from others within the various industries that you serve?
Well, I'll tell you, this is like very, very simple. What makes me different is that, we all start with a passion. We all start with that focus of what it is that we're wanting to be doing in life, in our careers or business or whatever that is. But what makes me different is that I stick with it. I have that gene called perseverance. And even when things don't work out the way that I really think they should work out, or the way that I plan for them to work out, I understand how to pivot. So I'm quick to pivot. I'm quick to adjust and changing those things within my business or within myself that I need to change so that I can continue to move forward within my business. So that's the one thing that makes me stand out the most, is that not only am I passionate about it, I stay passionate.
Talk about both of those, like being pivotal, both of them being pivotal, but dealing, and preparing for both, and then how pivotal it was for you in your career. Like, talk about that.
Right. So let me start the biggest one and honestly my favorite one, which was Single Ladies. So, that was a great show. It was my very first show, and I was very lucky to be on that. But so I auditioned for Single Ladies to play Lisa Ray's character's boyfriend at the time. But the show is called Single Ladies.
Right.
So, I'm out of here, and that's not good. And I read the script, and the character said something. Omar's character said something in the pilot script, and it was like something like, "Oh, bro, but I'm not that gay." And he had a mohawk, and I had a mohawk at the time. I was like, honestly, I like this guy's energy, and I feel like this character is the one.
I mean, it is the best thing in the world. The best part of my job is that I'm a part of what we call milestone moments. Our tagline is taste the memories, and we really mean that. So we started off just booking, the wineries and the breweries for people and taking them there. But we also decided to use our vehicle as a part of the experience. So when you're in a vehicle with us, before you even get to any place else, there's a custom slideshow if you send us pictures or videos. So you're watching your own memories on the journey out into wine country, or on what we call the Loco Ale Trail. When they get in the van, we pop a bottle of Prosecco from Italy, pour it out to them, explain to them where the wine is from, talk about the best way to open a bottle of sparkling wine, because you'd be surprised at how many people almost take somebody's eye out
in the industry. And now we've, over the last several years, a certain gentleman, R. Kelly, has really taken a beating. Who at a time had the opportunity to work with him. You know, not to say he's not a genius. The man was talented and all of that. But what was that like? And did I'm just going to ask, by chance, going through that time, like, did you notice maybe anything different, off, or was it just straight a music thing? When you came in, you did your part, you did your thing, and that was it.
You know what? It was all business. And look, I tell my husband this. Back in those days, I was trying to get at him. I even tell my husband
energy, the delivery, the whole family dynamic. I was like, yo, me and my wife was like, yo, real talk, like, this issue's real. This is so real. And I was worried at first, though, because I was like, I don't know if this is going to make it, because I don't know if mainstream was ready for what y'all doing. So talk about that.
That definitely hits on a lot of issues, but from the perspective of people of color, which happen to be African American. And this is where the buck stops sometimes in our business, because a lot of times people don't want to hear they're not interested enough in our stories. But like I said, the relatability comes in with the issues and the topics that we speak about. Is there anybody from any background, any ethnicity can sit in those seats, in those chairs, in that house, and deal with those same life issues, but obviously deal with it differently because of our perspective.
How do you see that progressing where you are, to get more of our young men and women of color involved in STEM and all of that type of work?
Yeah, I'm trying to put my best foot forward and doing it with the COVID times. So I can't really get as in person. I'm a very, I get energy off people in person. So I'm trying to do my best way of doing it and connecting in these virtual spaces. But I think it's really important that you just continue to shine your light on these children, because of the fact that I had that one professor who told me he saw no potential in me, but unfortunately, there's a lot of other teachers who are like that in other spaces, where one teacher's comment can really change the trajectory of a person's life in a good way and a bad way. And so the more and more you kind of shine your light on students and say, it is possible for you, the more that they're able to, follow that path.
Really inspires my work are obsessions and curiosities. So, and contradictions, the things that don't seem to add up in my life and other people's experiences. Like, for instance, I'd written a poem on my website called "The Myth of the Good Black Dad," because my dad is an interesting, well, at least it was an interesting character in terms of consistency and how I mirrored him. But that something like that was kind of a contradiction in how I perceived how I needed to be. So there's this figure in my life that doesn't necessarily add up to what I deem as okay, this is how a black man should act, and I'm kind of mirroring that. So I was like, okay, what's going on here? So yeah, those kind of curiosities and contradictions, and wanting to know more about it, and having it become an obsession where I'm thinking about it all day.
So one day, in my infinite wisdom, I'm on my way to work, and I said, you know what? Let me grab some peppers and bring in and try some of the sauces that I used to dabble in growing up, watching my grandmother throw them together. And we didn't have a blender, but I was her blender. I would chop stuff up for her, and she would just put it together. I remember picking up some habanero peppers, and while I was at work, I started throwing them in the blender that we had there. I threw peppers in. I started throwing carrots and onions and all sorts of stuff in there. I blended it up with a little vinegar. Tasted pretty good. It needs a little bit of salt. Put a little salt in there. Tasted pretty good. Added a little oil. Tasted pretty good. And then I said, oh, wait a minute. What's missing? There's something missing. So I threw a little mustard in there just to see what it would do. And the color shocked me. It came out kind of yellow. And, you don't see too many yellow sauces, except in the Caribbean. They do have.
Except for Caribbean.
Exactly. And so I said, you know what? That's home. That felt like home to me. So I put it together and I tasted it, and I was like, you know what? This is pretty darn good.
I am Karen, born in California. I'm an Air Force brat. We settled in Northern California. San Jose is where I kind of call my hometown. So, and I'm just one of these people out here in entertainment, trying to be an actress. Comedian is one of those words. I feel like I'm a comic actress more than that. Kind of fell into doing Edda Mae Mumfreys, and I'm really blessed because it's not just comedy, it's also my ministry. industry, if you will. And so I am lucky to have some gigs and entertain people. Like they say, laughter is medicine. So I try to stay on track and listen to what God has for me to do, the opportunities. I had a great time at UCLA and pursued the acting career. I'm an adoptive mother. I have a beautiful daughter that I'm really proud of. God blessed me with a beautiful helpmate. My husband is a great man of God. And so I love to entertain. So here we are.
The purpose maybe behind Unfinished Business, and or is there more to come, book wise from Moke and Steph?
Yeah, what was the purpose of it was because we left. It's like we left our fans without an explanation. We left them, and it wasn't really like that. And we really need to share the unfinished business, what occurred, the things that we went through during this time. Right. From writing this book, from when we disbanded from each other and what went down, like why it went down, like who, like one person in the group, when you find out, it was one person that really didn't want to do it anymore. Was like turned off by the game, by this music industry, because it can't do that to you. So one of us was the first to start it off to say, they didn't, and you'll find out who that person was in the book. And you see the perspectives of the other members, how we felt. We keeping it real. We're like, we're upset that this person did this.
As crazy as it seems, you're like something out my dreams. Why can't I talk to you when a week ago I was fine and then I saw you for the first time? I guess you took my breath away and nothing's been the same. You got me singing do 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 da 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 da. Oh 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 yeah. Do 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 do. Oh, 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 yeah. Hey,
or should a startup, or I don't want to say should a startup wait, but should maybe an individual wait till they have a little more time under their belt to reach out?
So that is the going question. People always say in the beginning stages, oh, I need a publicist. A lot of times you don't need a publicist when you first start out. You need branding and you need marketing. A publicist should be included in your budget, because most publicists know how to develop and craft your story. So you might not need me for a full retainer, but you could benefit from like DIY PR. So we create things that'll help pitch yourself to the media to tell them that you do exist. But I always say focus on your brand story and then your marketing tactics.
He's definitely not crazy. My name's Tanisha Martin. I'm the executive director of Black Girls Hack. We are a nonprofit organization that is set up out of Virginia, but we operate, globally to help increase diversity in cybersecurity. Our mission is to, try to help bridge some of the gaps to entry for people who are trying to get into cybersecurity, specifically in the areas of ethical hacking. So I am a professional penetration tester, and I am trying to bring more people that look like me into the space because, as you probably know, we don't see a lot of, Black people in STEM, and especially in the penetration testing, subsector within cybersecurity. So we're trying to, bridge some of those gaps, get people who are interested into the field with the training, with the mentoring.
This is a film that focuses on sex trafficking. It entwines the acting industry. As an actor, it's things that I'm so thankful for, that things that could have happened within this industry that didn't for me, but I do know people that it has happened to where we get so excited about getting a role that we don't look up the people who's doing the audition. So many, in LA, everyone's a producer, everyone's a manager.
Right.
And no, really they are some criminals. They're some real shady. They're real shady.
Yeah.
So I know we're saying the nice words for them. I know.
Introduce yourself to our audience.
Thank you, Damien. First, I want to say I am just so appreciative that you have me back onto your show. I'm really excited about that. So I am founder of Youth Empower Me Foundation. So in a nutshell, we are the village for parents. Today, parents really need the help and support to help our youth become successful. So I have been a founder now. We created the nonprofit just before the pandemic. And here we are. We've had fundraisers, but we're excited because now we're actually going to be able to have our in-person event, our signature event, which is the Empower Her, Empower Me Mother-Daughter Summit. So that's coming up March 25th. And we're excited about the venue. We're having it at the hotel at the University of Maryland. It's an all-day event. It's an event where we're focusing on empowering mom or mother figures and their daughters between the age of 18.
What does that really mean to you, you know, to be recognized for all the amazing work that you've done and you continue to do? What does that mean to you?
Well, being really honest with you, awards are a nice some ego meat. You know, they feed your ego. And you can sort of like, go,
Yeah.
But that doesn't sustain me as an artist. It doesn't, like, okay, you got the award, now I got to go create something else. Right. It is nice to be recognized, but honestly, the recognition that is more meaningful to me is when I meet a person and they got it, or something. That is the more meaningful thing for me, because it's immediate.
So Habitat Prince William, we stepped in to advocate on the behalf of a mobile home park in Manassas called East End Mobile Home Park. The backstory on that is that the owner of the mobile home park would not take care of code violations where they had sewage coming up over the streets. Over 92 families were going to face eviction during that time.
Right.
So Habitat stepped up. We advocated on behalf of the city, and we worked out a partnership with another nonprofit called Catholics for Housing, now CFH, to save that community. So you have over 92 families now that are still in that home. Habitat for Humanity, what we decided to do is we put a playground in that community. I led those efforts as a community outreach coordinator to do that. And then they had an old cinder block building where we ended up creating a resource center. So that way, when they have your capital area food bank come in and to drop out food for the community, for the families there, they have a place now.
Oh, snap.
Oh, man. We lost the host.
Yeah.
The host.
Yeah, we still recording?
Yeah, we are still recording.
All right, I want to give a shout out to my mom. My dad, like, I appreciate what you did. Don't mind the cardigan. This is for you, Pop.
Hey, look, we'll just keep it going until he get back up here.
Hey, you know what? I mean, all my baby mamas, I'm sorry. Oh, Dame, you back.
Yeah. Don't worry about it. We're gonna cut it out. I mean, somebody cut the lights out.
That was good material. That's some good content we had.
Hey, don't worry about it, because we're gonna pick up on it. But so with that, gentleman, then I do want to lead into, because I'm just not going to walk away without really diving into another aspect of the church as men of of the pulpit and things like that. There was a time we had leaders that were very visual and very out in front. And I'm not saying that it's not that way today, but where are our leaders at? Where is that? And I don't want to put one person, but we don't seem to see it across our spectrum as we did coming up. So where are they at? And really, too, the flip side of it, is it still needed, or do we still need those type of leaders? Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's your man, Dame DNYDC. 2 Mics Up Business Corner. Hey, as an entrepreneur or business owner, or however you decide to, classify yourself today, the benefits of networking are critical to both your personal growth and your business development. Click the link below. Go ahead and subscribe. And join me as I sit down and I share 5 tips, 5 tips with you on the benefits of networking. Look forward to seeing you soon. Click the link and subscribe today. Your opinion, why do you think horror movies are culturally important?
Well, I think they're culturally important because I think that people want to see the possibility. They want to be thrilled. It's like a roller coaster ride. They want to be thrilled, but under the cloak of safety. It's similar to what I've heard about people talk about comedy. Like comedy, if taking the statements that a comedian might say point blank, they might seem like crude and mean and nasty, but they're done under the cloak of safety. Like, I think I think we need it. I don't know why we need it, but we need to be thrilled. We need to be excited. And it shows, like, well, even really bad horror movies, they do crazy amounts of money, right?
So this the bedroom positions class is actually going to teach that, because what a lot of people don't realize is that when you are not in tune with yourself, it doesn't matter what type of what type of your bedroom life you got going on. You're going to be out of tune with your partner. Because at the end of the day, it's not about you, it's about y'all together. So if you're not in tune with yourself, it's actually going to throw off your communication and your connection with your partner. So you have to go back to the basics with it. You have to learn how do you love? How do you love yourself? Do you actually love yourself? Because especially a lot of men, they want to be so hard. See, I grew up with brothers. So y'all can't be fooling me, because I know the game.
With everything that was happening in 2020, my siblings and I, we got together and started really just talking about, like, how can we affect change, really? How can we affect change on a national level and really get people educated and activated 365 days, right? Not just during one weekend, but all throughout the year. And so that's how my Bible came to be. You know, we asked our friends if they knew about their local elected officials, and people really didn't know, right? We thought that first, my Bible in its first iteration would just be sort of a resource that streamlined all of your elected officials. But we came to sort of the understanding that to really move the needle in our country, we needed to create an ecosystem that's unlike any other ecosystem in the social media landscape, that really made discourse and connection and conversation cool again.
From your perspective as an artist, what would you say your mission is through your artwork that you provide to us in the community?
Great question, Damon. I tell you what, I'm inspired to inspire. I want to paint that narrative where people can do exactly what they want to do in life. Exactly, put your mind to it. So the youth, instilling in the boys and girls, men and women, to do exactly what you want to do, one brick at a time. I like for people to look at my art and feel a certain type of way. I think I've done my job, and the artist has done his job. Once they feel a certain type of way, they are able to speak, or they just may look and stare, and then some people are not verbal, but art will make them become verbal with a smile on their face. So